Manush Ki Bolbe is a podcast created to empower Bengalis through shared life stories and experiences to navigate their journey with resilience and confidence. We thank you for your support, but we also understand everyone's experience in life is unique. Our goal is to inspire growth and to remind people that they are not alone in their journey through life, but please put your mental health first if you are triggered in any shape or form during our discussion. With that being said, thanks for tuning in.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Sultana. I'm your co-host, and we are at episode number 2 for our podcast series, Manush Ki Bolbe. Sorry, we're super excited today because we have new equipment, but this podcast series, for those of you listening for the first time, is a series aimed at uplifting Bengali youth and anyone else through shared life stories and experiences. And if this is your first time listening or watching us, make sure you go back and watch our intro episode. You can go on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify. We're going to do Apple Music soon, don't worry. But that's the episode where we kind of introduce ourselves, introduce what this podcast means to us, and Manush Ki Bolbe, what it signifies. So if you're tuning in for the first time, just go back and listen to that intro so you get an idea of what we're going to be talking about, and then hop back into this. Who's excited, Raja?
I am. I'm really excited to use all this new equipment, guys. It's so nice. I texted Sultan and I was like, hear me out. Might be $1,000, but it'll be worth it. It'll save us a lot of time editing, and I hope the sound quality is a lot better for you guys compared to the first episode. If you did listen to it, we heard your feedback. We really love the positive ones that we got, and the negative ones made me cry. But they were honest. They were nice and honest. They were telling us, here's some suggestions. It'll make your podcast better. Thanks for all the stories that you told.
Yeah, we're so excited. Honestly, like when Rajan came up to me and was like, we need this equipment, it's going to be $1,000. I was like, what? I was like, that's expensive. But honestly, as he said, just want to also echo his points and just say that, like, we are excited for this. We want to bring you guys stories, and we want to make this really powerful. So honestly, he didn't have to say much. The rationale is understood. And so we're really excited today. This equipment is beautiful, and hopefully our voices are much more
beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get started.
Yeah.
How are you, Rajan?
I'm good. I recently ran a 5K. I run a lot. I'm trying to focus a lot on my health. I think there's like a mind-body connection. I truly believe in that. And so my group, my friends, and a lot of other people that I know, I met like 3 other people through running. We're trying to set up like a running group within our little small group of monkeys that we call ourselves. And I beat my time. I was really proud of it. I previously ran a 10-minute, 10-second per mile run. And now it is a 8-minute and 50-second pace per mile.
That's wild. I'm trying to get to like 15 minutes a mile. So yeah, I need some help.
No, that's fine. Don't be ashamed. Before I started running last year, I could barely run a mile myself. Like I would die at the half-mile point. And now look at me. I'm not a superstar, but I'm miles and miles ahead of where I started,
I mean, going back to the mind-body connection thing, I truly do agree with you. So I feel like with you even, I've seen like that you're so focused on your health and like your well-being and overall just like your physical health, but like there is truly a connection there. And I feel like in Bengali cultures, we just don't know that at all because our parents give us bhat every day and chicken curry and oily foods and fried foods, and Ramadan's coming up. So it's going to be interesting, all the shemai and the fiajis and all of that stuff. But yeah, let's...
Yeah, make sure you take care of yourself, guys. I know you're stuffing yourselves after iftar, but maybe before that, go on a run.
Yeah.
Do some zikr, pray a little bit too. That's important. Very important.
Right.
And yeah, just eat pray, sleep.
We definitely need a whole episode on health. So we'll do that. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm a front runner in learning how to take care of yourself. Not that I can. I'm still getting there, but it's helped me a lot of ways.
It takes work. But today we're not talking about health. We are talking about something else. What are we talking about today, Rajan?
We are talking about moving out, brought to you by you guys, the listeners. We set up a poll, and apparently moving out is a very popular topic in the community. And I, for one, have been thinking about, I think about moving out all the time. Let me just put it out there. For background, I moved out of my parents' place early 2022.
This was like when? Like after college or?
This was after the whole COVID issue that was going on.
Had you graduated from UGA at that point?
Yeah. So I graduated in 2020, May 2020.
Okay.
And I already had a job lined up.
Okay.
I'm really grateful for it. It paid well. Well, if you like getting paid, okay, I guess. But at the time it was money. I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of money. And I was working remotely for the longest time with so many, like my coworkers were old. They were lovable, but they were old. And I kind of felt like, I was like, is this my life? Am I going to be working remotely
for the rest of my life?
For the rest of my life in my parents' house? And I didn't at the time think I was going to move out, but I can definitely feel I moved out in college. That was awesome. That feeling coming up again.
Yeah. And
so that was one reason I moved out. Another reason was I was talking to a girl at the time.
And that's the real reason.
Okay. Hear me out.
The main motivator here.
This is, I don't encourage this, but I also encourage it. It's exciting. But every so often I would invite this girl to my house, my parents' house.
With your mom and dad.
I mean, they didn't know she was there.
Okay. So you snuck her in.
I had to sneak her in a lot. And we would have a really good time, but we'd have to be really sneaky about it.
Was this girl Bengali?
She was.
Oh my God.
We're not going to talk too much about her.
Okay. Not on this episode.
Well. Not on this episode. I hope she's doing well. I'm pretty sure she's doing well for herself. I try not to keep too much contact with her.
Okay, back to the story.
But back to the story. So I was sneaking her in, and I kind of felt lame for sneaking her in. Like
bad boy, but yeah, I feel that.
I felt like, I'm a grown man making my own money, and maybe it's about time I flew the coop. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Flew the coop.
Yeah.
And build my own nest. So I irresponsibly moved out of my parents' place and moved downtown to an apartment complex near the Beltline. And it was really nice, super spacious. Unfortunately, I was actually in a very bad mental mindset as well.
Wait, hold on. So let me clarify the story a little bit and ask you some questions. So you moved out because you were like, okay, I need my own space. This feels weird having to sneak in a girl. When you moved out, were you still with this girl?
So it didn't work out.
Okay. I'm sorry. We won't go there. It's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It didn't work out. But the takeaway is I'm still out of my parents' place, which is great. But when you move out of your parents' place for the first time, especially as a brown dude, and we talked about this in my last episode, I'm a boy mom. I'm a mama's boy. My mom, she cooked majority of my meals. I did my own laundry. I'm very proud of that. But she cooked a lot of my meals. A lot of the stuff, or like food that was brought into the house that I could snack on, was brought in by my dad. And so I had to learn how to do those things. And it's very simple on paper, but having to build a routine of cooking your own breakfast, working, and making your own lunch, or meal prepping your own lunch, it was very hard at first, super, super hard. And it was taking a toll on me mentally, in sort of like the oh my gosh, I got so much going on now. Like all of a sudden.
So did you have a roommate?
I didn't. And that's another thing. I didn't have a roommate. And if you like your own personal space, I go for it, live by yourself. But through that experience, I learned that I can't live by myself.
Okay.
At least not yet. Cause I had come from a house where it's super chaotic, 5 siblings. And then when I moved out in college, I had roommates. And then all of a sudden it's just you and your own head.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like when you live alone. Like at the end of the night, you come home, like let's say you're out with your friends, you come home, it's silent, super quiet, you're brushing your teeth, there's no one to talk to. And and this is bad, but like I'm always jealous of people who are able to like be at peace with themselves, because I could never do it. And that was another thing that was bringing me down. It's just like I felt very weak for thinking that. And so it was just a bunch of like negative things coming in all at once. I got into a little bit of drug abuse and a little bit of alcohol abuse, which put me at a financial deficit.
Right.
A really bad one. And if you're listening to this, Abu, I'm sorry for like, if this is the first time you're hearing this, I know you listen to this.
I'm sorry on his behalf.
No, we're cool. My dad, I don't think he knows about the alcohol, but he did know about other things. I'm doing a lot better, Abu. Don't worry. I'm super clean now. But yeah, that's how I moved out. Eventually my debt caught up with me and I was like, shit, this is not financially stable. My brother, he thankfully at the time he wanted to move out as well. He was losing his mind at home.
Yeah.
For many of the same reasons I was. And so I was like, come room with me.
Perfect. That's amazing. Yeah.
Live with me. We were lucky enough to live in the same building that I had moved into previously. Just a different room.
Okay. Nice.
Yes. 2-bedroom.
Okay.
Just as spacious. Like, I'm talking like it's a really nice apartment in my opinion. And our rent was a lot cheaper because we were able to divide that up. It's just a better rate overall. And then
so what happened? Because you're not living in your own apartment right now.
So why am I back? Why am I back in my parents' crib? I'm back in my parents' crib because our lease ended and both my brother and I agreed that maybe it's about time that we think about better financial decisions, like owning our own place at some point. And the only way to really do that, on top of like our insurance payments, on top of our car payments, phone bills, is to live back home for a little bit, save some dough, and maybe help out our parents as well. Cause to us, moving out, even in general, is a very hard thing to do, especially.
It seems selfish, I think.
It feels
right.
selfish.
It feels,
yes.
It
You
feels
feel
that way.
Guilty leaving your family to kind of fend for themselves.
Right.
And maybe that's just the trauma and just like how the culture is built on, is just taking care of your family first. You come second.
Oh, 100%. That is really the main thing, right? I feel like in all Bengali households, there's always this very awkward time between like high school and college where kids are like, I want to get out of here and go as far away as possible so I can finally get my own space. And the parents are like, where are you going? You better be going to UGA. You better go to Georgia State, or you better get a scholarship and go to Emory, right? Because they want their kids to be so close to them. And even if they do go to Emory or Georgia State, parents are like, yeah, your school is close enough. You can drive there, stay at home. You're not living on campus, right? I feel like obviously there's so many different situations, scenarios, different parents, on the level of liberal or conservative, right? But for kids, they're just like, I want to leave. And parents are like, you better make sure you stay. So I think that like our families, like the sacrifices that our parents made, and even general cultural things, right? Like in Bengali Muslim culture, right? Girls are really not supposed to leave the home until they're married. Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't come at me.
They shouldn't. And guys, they definitely have more freedoms, but they have more financial responsibility for their parents.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's this weird thing. It's like, okay, if you're a girl, I can't leave unless I get married. So let me get married and find my man really quick. And that might be a bad decision, right? Or if you're a guy, you're like, shoot, what can I do? Right?
It almost feels like you have to live a very limited life. Like you have to limit your experiences because you still have to provide good experiences for your family.
Right.
And that sounds like, to me, it was always like, it hurt, knowing that if I left, that they might suffer a little bit, but if you can't take care of yourself, you really can't take care of other people. That's what I've learned. Like, when I was living at home, taking care of my family, I built this sort of grudge against them. And it was just like, why couldn't you guys do better? Like, if you had done better, I could move out with no problems. Other kids get to do it. And I was comparing myself to like white kids. Let's be real. They got it all. They're good. I won't get into that too much, but that resentment built up and I just blew up. I had to leave. I had to fend for myself while also like, it was just like, I'll just take it. I need to get out of here. So I'll move out, but also provide for them. And then it got to a point where I couldn't even provide for them and it was eating me alive. It really sucked. Really, really sucked.
I think being a Bengali is so hard because we really do. Like, we think we want this life. We want our parents to be more liberal. We compare ourselves to our, Americanized friends all the time. But then you move out and you realize, oh man, I really miss my mom. Oh man, I really miss XYZ. Oh man, I actually really do care about my family. And I want to, take part of that responsibility. And then how do you come back into that? And then how do you do that and still have your own independent life and lifestyle? It's hard. It's not easy. I remember, I will caveat by saying that my story and experience is definitely not typical Bengali because my mom is really, really chill. I'm so blessed. Alhamdulillah that my mom is, as amazing as she is. My dad passed away 11, 12 years ago. And so, she is just look, whatever is best for you guys, whatever you want to do, just do it. She's not the typical, you need to stay at home and do XYZ. My little sister lives on her own in Midtown. My big sister lives with her husband. My other little sister lives in New York. But one thing I think in our siblings that we kind of instilled was we do love each other. We do want to stay close to each other. And how can we do that and support our families, but still living this independent life? And I think that, again, navigating it is so freaking hard.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of pressure on older siblings as well. They kind of have to bear a lot of that responsibility of providing for their family. So it's my older brother, and he's the best person ever. He even told me and my younger brother, hey, I'm going to take care of mom and dad. You guys do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. I can hold the fort down here. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. I love him. I really do. He's awesome. He's really pushing it for himself to make sure he can take care of everyone. Even in the smallest ways. I'm really blessed and thankful for that. But it was hard. If it were me, me personally, I would have that pressure would have fucking gotten to me and I would have left. I wouldn't have looked back. And, it takes a lot of strength to stay in your house for so long. And I'm not trying to push the agenda that you should move out. Otherwise you're limiting yourself. I know some people actually like it. They love being around their family and they're also capable of being fully functioning adults. But I have always just been that person where for me to learn, I have to experience things. So whether it's moving out, making my own noodles, making my own pancakes, I for some reason just can't do that at home. I need organization. And when you have a bunch of people living in your house, it's super chaotic. There's a phrase that my coworker said to me because I had like a candy wrapper on my desk, and he's like, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. And it was funny, but I also remember, like, I took a lot from that. As small as that moment was, it's just like there's so much things in my peripheral view and home that sometimes I don't know where things are. Sometimes I would rather have like the couch here instead of here. It's like the little things that pile up all together that gave me a lot of pressure that pushed me out.
That makes sense. I mean, I remember, so I lived with my mom. Like my mom's address, wherever she is, her home is my home. It's my permanent address forever. Like I send all my packages there still. I go there almost every single day, even though I own my own home now. And the thing is, when I have a fully remote job, and when I came back from DC and moved back to Atlanta, I decided to live with my mom because I love her and we have a great relationship and she's super chill again. But I realized that working from home, and sometimes my mom would have a couple days off during the week, I got almost nothing done those days because, again, when you come from big families, especially you and I were the second oldest, right? So we definitely have way more responsibilities. I'll speak for myself. I have a lot of responsibilities, not just financially, but like physically, emotionally, like just in so many different ways and levels for my mom and my family. And when you're working from home and your parent or one of your siblings is there, it's just like, oh, did you do this? Oh, Koli, did you do this? Oh, Koli, can you do this for me? Oh, Koli, can you do this? And it's like, obviously, you're not working and busy all 8 hours of the day. So it's like, of course I'll do that. But you finish your day and you're like thinking to yourself, like, wow.
I need to catch a breath.
I need to catch a breath.
I can't catch a breath. As soon as you step out of the house, it's just like suddenly everyone needs everything.
Yes.
It's like my little brother's biggest complaint.
It's hard. And then also I feel like home to me, and I feel like other Bengalis that I know feel the same way, is like home. It's like comforting, right? Like you just want to like lay down.
It should be comforting, but it doesn't feel like that. It's
right.
Like you get to an age where it just feels like extra work. Like it's not a waste of your time, but it just feels like you could be using your time elsewhere on yourself. And it's just hard.
I think for some people, as you said, like living at home with your parents is amazing and beautiful and it works out and there's at so much peace, right? But for others, it's really like, it's not even about like, oh, my parents and I have a horrible relationship, I gotta get out of here. In some cases that might be it, right?
Right.
Bengalis are known to be a little sheltering, a little over the top, a little overprotective of their kids. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like you get used to, your own style, having your own way of things. And when you're a 28, 29-year-old human and you're not married yet and you haven't found your significant other, it's like, dang, I don't feel like I have a good excuse to move out. I don't feel like I have a good enough excuse. And so obviously, I will say that I still do financially contribute to my household, even though I'm out of the house. I think that like there's always a way to do that, right? But I'm thinking about kids who like want to move right out, like you, and I'm thinking about the conversations that you would have to have with your parents. And I'm wondering, Rajon, how would you talk to this? Have you talked to your dad about this?
About moving out?
About moving out again? Are you ready to, do you think, moving out again? And if you did, are you going to be thinking about buying something? Or are you going to, rent something, an apartment? What's the next step for you? And I want to really understand like what that conversation looks like. Because I know you mentioned during the last episode that you had a convo with your dad recently and it was a good one. So I'm just thinking about what is going to change in your next step when you move out again. And what are some of the changes that you're going to make, if any?
Yeah. So for context, in the previous episode, if you haven't watched it, which I highly recommend, but in that episode, I explained how I had a conversation with my dad, how I'm scared that I'm going to have to take care of the family for the rest of my life. And by doing that, I'm not going to be able to live the life that I want. And I feel like I'm blessed for this, but my dad, he looked at me and he was just like, what are you talking about? I lived in this country for about 20 something years, and I've survived the worst situations you can probably imagine. And he wasn't like showboating, you know, like he wasn't, but he was saying that if I need to leave and for the time being, I can't provide to them because there's some experience that I want to have and it'll require me not to help out for a little bit, I can do it because he can take care of the family just like he always has been able to. And I said, damn, holy shit.
They surprise you sometimes.
Yeah. I'm blessed with parents who do love me, albeit sometimes a little too much to me. But your question was how am I going to navigate the next steps of moving out? So it's pretty clear in my family that I intend on moving out. Like nobody asked me if I'm going to move out because they just know, you know, I love freedom. I love having my own space, maybe not alone this time, maybe with a roommate. And so for now, I'm okay living with my parents because right now I've been staffed on this project that I can't explain too much for legal reasons, but it requires me to travel every week to South Carolina. Previously, I was going to Philadelphia, and it just doesn't make sense for me to move out, you know? Like, why would I have my own space if I'm only going to be there for like
2 days?
Like, not even 2 days, like a day and a half sometimes. This week I worked about 46 hours.
Not worth it. Not worth it, Jinhoon.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. So for the time being, I'm chill. I'm good. I don't think I need to have a conversation where, hey, I'm thinking about moving out. Although there have been conversations about, you know, when I move out, what adjustments are you guys going to make? Just out of curiosity, because if I can't contribute to the house, I feel like there are some things that you guys need to take note of so that you can save more money. Because I still want you to be happy. I want you to live happily in your house. And I want to be able to provide for you when you guys need it and like treat you when I want to. I don't want it to be like I'm not their source of like income, you know, that everybody works, but I don't want my relationship with them afterwards, like from this point on, to be, I'm just going to give you money every month, do whatever you want. I want it to be, hey, here's this Gucci bag. Feeling generous today. Here you go. I love you, you know?
I love that. And I think genuinely that's a better way to also not create any kind of resentment because, you know, from my own personal experience, I feel like my big sister, she was the main breadwinner in our family for a long time. After college, she went straight into her career as a consultant. And that her senior year was when my dad passed away. And it went from being a 2-person income to a 1-person income. So my sister knew she had to, you know, be the source of the second income. And so, I mean, I think when you, at a young age, at 21, imagine a 21-year-old, right? Financially supporting a whole family of 5 kids and a parent entirely on their own. As a woman, I mean, of course we're strong, right? But starting the year that your father passes away, not easy.
Yeah, everybody has limits.
Not easy. And so she was the main breadwinner. I mean, you know, we went to her for everything. Like the opposite of what you're trying to do is what happened in my family. She took us to vacation. She's the one who paid for we went to a coffee house cafe and she would pay for everyone's coffees. We would go to lunch and she would pay for everyone's lunch. Like she paid for every expense that we had and allowed us to have like those experiences and a good life. But after a while, it's like, I've been doing everything. Now what? Like, whose turn is it?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And so it's better, I think, when you don't really go that route and you do what you had just explained and just being more generous and being like, look, you guys need to figure it out. But don't worry, on your birthday, I got you.
Yeah. If freaking roof breaks and you can't afford it, I got you.
Right.
I can't got you all the time.
Yeah.
In a perfect situation, I want every single person in my house to first take care of themselves. That's important. Their health, their needs, but also have a stable income. That's like the best situation so that we're not just grubbing off each other and then someone's feeling resentful for, their money getting taken away, their experiences getting taken away, and the other party doesn't feel guilty for taking that experiences away. Because I can imagine, like, because you just shared your story about your older sister doing all these wonderful things for you guys. God bless her. She's amazing. But I can imagine how much that must have sucked for her. And I don't want to speak on it.
Yeah.
Maybe she just didn't mind at all. But like, if it were me, I can see that I would have grown resentful of my family just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And I can also understand that you guys probably felt so guilty when you like, can I get like dessert? And then you're like, wait, no, shh. Yeah. She already paid enough. Don't ask her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is another thing, right? Like with Bengali households, like a lot of the time, like our parents are not coming from, they may have been educated, sure, but when they come to the US, they're not necessarily white collar workers. They're blue collar most of the time, at least starting as blue collar, right? So it can take several years for them to really become financially stable and independent. On top of that, learning about the financial system here is really like daunting as well, right? Like I didn't learn about, what credit meant until like high school, end of high school. And even then I was like, what is it? I don't really get it, but okay. Until you go out into the real world and you kind of F it up. And then you're like, oh shoot.
Oh, now I know what it is.
Now I know what it is.
Let me tell you guys, I know what it is now.
So it's interesting stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the conclusion here is that whether you stay in your parents' home or want to leave, really that choice is up to you and like your certain circumstances. But there are ways to have those conversations with your parents, where you can kind of do both. A little bit of, hey, I need to be selfish and do this for myself, but also I'm still going to be here for you guys in X, Y, Z ways. And however, you negotiate that with them, right? It's all about negotiating.
Yeah, it might feel like a whole debate sometimes. There might be screaming and yelling. Someone thinks they're smarter than you because they have more experiences, or you might think you're smarter than them because you know better because you're younger and things have changed. There's a middle ground. I promise you there's a middle ground where everyone is happy. And I wanted to add, since you mentioned it, whether you want to move out or not, that point, if you don't plan on moving out, still try to like grow. Because I know plenty of people who stay with their parents. And
good point.
They're not lazy, but they're lazy and like they might need a car ride every day. Like just learn how to drive. Like when you read that, just learn how to drive. Take some burden off your parents. Or just cook your own breakfast every now and then. It's not hard. I promise you it's not hard. It's going to feel a little daunting at first, but you're going to be like, when you're ready to go out into the real world, you'll be ready. Just start now.
I love that, Rajan. I agree with you 100%. Like having that aha moment of like, oh shoot, I've been sheltered and like my parents have been taking care of me. And then I see some people like just, getting into marriages and relationships and being with a partner when they had no experience, being on their own or really being independent, right? Yeah. And living and knowing how to make breakfast and driving or whatever it is, right? And so I love that point, and I think that's the most important point in today's episode, honestly.
Yeah, and this goes for both genders, every gender. This is 2024.
Yes. Right. All genders.
Because, a lot of boys they're very dependent on their mothers and their fathers to give them food. And luckily they can sneak out and stuff, but for girls, just keep yourself busy doing other things, like hang out with your friends. And to do that, I would and if you want to, just learn how to drive.
Yeah, I think for, coming from a girl, I think, right, our parents, usually teach the girls how to cook and clean and do all those things. So we know how to do the household chores and duties, but, driving, that might seem very daunting to some girls, right? I know a lot of Bengali women in my life who are scared to go on the freeway, scared to really drive more than 20, 25 minutes away from, their comfort zone, their homes. Mm-hmm. So you rely on other people to do that for you, right? A lot of women also are scared to make their own friends, kind of, live their own social lives. It's so important. It's really, really important. Exercising, physical health, mental health, just like everything, trying to in your best ability, really trying to live a very fruitful and balanced life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. And another point I wanted to address is that parents, if you are listening to this, didn't forget about you, but parents, if you are listening to this, if you I think you should push your kids to do these things. It's because at the end of the day, they're kids. They don't know better. They're not going to know. They're only going to know as much as you teach them. So if you tell them, oh, you can't drive, it's okay. I'll do it for you. I know you can't drive, or I know you can't cook, so you shouldn't do it. I'll do it for you. That's how they're going to end up. They're going to be very dependent on you. And then once they reach the age of 30, you're like, get the fuck out of my house, please.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. That is I'm sorry. This is the best point in this episode.
No, my dad actually said, he actually, I told him about this episode and he's like, talk about this too. Cause we were just talking about how it's awesome that Amira, my sister, she drives, she works part-time. She's also studying to be a nurse. She's got all this going on, but she can take care of herself. I can trust her to, I don't feel like I have to monitor her to see if she's alive, if she's on her way to school. If she's in the middle of the night, she's cooking. She literally vibes at her own time. She has her own frequency that nobody messes with, And I'm very proud of her for that. And my youngest sister, she's also the same way, where if she has to go hang out with her friends, the first thing she's going to do, well, not the first thing, but if there are options such as her friend's parents picking her up, she'll take it because she doesn't want to give us because she knows we're very busy. She's very mindful of that. She also knows how to cook. It's great. My sisters are awesome. And I thank my parents for raising him that way.
Again.
And a lot of parents don't do that. And I'm calling you out.
But parents also, right? Like I said, Bengali girls tend to know it all. We tend to be able to be a little bit more balanced. Boys, on the other hand, not so much, right? And I mean, again, girls too, we can do some things, but at the end of the day, parents, I think, just really letting go of your kids sometimes is okay.
Okay, I think it's the best thing that you can do.
Because I think parents really have this weird attachment to their kids. And it's that attachment is so fearful for the kids because they're like, what are you going to do without me?
Yeah.
It's another reason why maybe some kids don't want to leave.
But I also think when when parents say that, what are you going to do without me? In reality, the situation is, what am I going to do without you?
Right.
I've been taking care of you my entire life.
Exactly.
And it's like a subconscious thing where they probably don't get it. Like, you like reach an age where your whole life, every single experience that you have, it's your personality. Like, your brain
is wired that way.
It's wired that way. So
revolves around your kids.
They probably can't even comprehend their lives without their kids. And so that's why they subconsciously say, I don't want you to leave because now I have nothing to do. Now I don't know myself. What the hell am I going to do for the rest of my life? But then it translates to, oh, you shouldn't leave. I can take care of you because you can't take care of yourself.
And, you know, we need a whole other episode to discuss that, because I mean, parents, especially here, right? There's not a good sense of community. Mm-hmm. That's a huge issue, right? So yeah, when the kids leave, it's like they really don't have anything. Women, I mean, especially women, suffer.
The older Bengali
women, And there aren't that many activities that they can really participate, or even if there are, they may not feel comfortable, right? So, I mean, we can go on and on about that issue.
It would be a very long episode.
Yeah. But it's such a good point, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, because parents, seriously, I know it's tough, especially if you have like an only child. I think that's when it's like the most tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But really letting go and understanding like, hey, I raised a good kid, hopefully, and being able to give them, you know, the support. Obviously, hey, I'm here if you need anything. You know, you can also establish some sort of schedule, like maybe once every 2 weeks, come over for dinner, once every weekend, come over and we'll do XYZ together, right?
Or like how, and I'm going to provide some examples. Sultana, she has her Amazon boxes shipped to her mom's house.
Right.
I'm sure like she did that because she just wants to see her mom, and it's like a convenient way to do that.
Exactly.
I had a cousin who would only do his, I think I have another cousin right now that also does this, but he only does his laundry at his parents' place just to say hi.
And
I think that's all your parents want, really, is just They want to know that you'll never forget them, because they came to this country. They
did a lot for us.
They left a life in a beautiful country. I'll call it beautiful. Fuck it. But they left their previous life to come here. They sacrificed a lot, and only for their kids to never see them again.
Right.
It sucks. And I don't want to put guilt on you children, for that, but just say, hey, my sister actually gave me a talk the other day about how I need to give my mom an easier time. Cause sometimes I get annoyed when my mom, like, I came home late on Friday and after like working hours, and I went straight to bed. I wasn't really hungry. And then when I woke up, I was brushing my teeth. I didn't want to listen to anyone. I'm an angry guy in the morning. Not angry, but like
You're not a morning person.
I actually am. I like waking up in the morning, but I don't like being disturbed. And so my mom called me, and she's just like, she's upstairs, but she calls me because I live downstairs, and she's like, when did you get home? I was like, 10:30. She's like, okay, did you eat? No.
I need you to say all this in Bangla, like all of it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Until let it go.
Fuck. Tumi Kun সময় আইছো? 10:30. I don't know how to say 10:30 in Bangla.
10:30.
10:30. Okay, thank you. খাইছনি? না খাইছি না। খেনে খাইছো না? ভাল লাগছে না, আমি tired আসলাম। Okay. Breakfast খাইছনি? না খাইছি না। খাইতাইনি? না, I'll make it myself. Ma, please just leave me alone. Like, please. And then she had told, like, my mom, she's very open about her emotions, and she'll tell everything to my sisters. And she was just like, sometimes I don't know how to talk to my sons. I feel like they get angry at me. And when I heard that, I felt like a total dickhead. And bro, like, I was just like, shit. Cause my sister came downstairs. She's like, cause we were catching up, and she was just like, oh, by the way, I have something, there's something I want to talk about. And I was like, it's about me. She's like, yeah. I'm like, fuck, I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next day I gave my mom a hug.
Yeah.
And we're good now.
And I think that's fun. Like literally, right? Like we're all going to have little things. People might look at me and be like, oh, she's so, like her and her mom have a great relationship. She's probably perfect. No, I'm not. I also do the same thing sometimes, and like, it's good to have people that are aware. Some parents communicate how they feel with you directly. Some people to their other kids, and the kids come tell you. That's okay. As long as we can like say sorry and apologize. I'm proud of you for doing that. Because, great for your mom for communicating how she feels. Because sometimes they just bottle that in and they just, they're like, okay, I guess this is how I'm going to be treated. Right. Also kudos to your sister.
Yeah.
For coming and talking to you, but like telling you in a very nice, respectful way. She wasn't like yelling at you and being like, oh my God, you're being so mean to mom.
But she also gets it. She knows how it works, and she knows that I need to have a peaceful morning.
Yeah.
And so she wasn't going to tell me don't have a peaceful morning. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But she understands both sides. Yeah. So I guess I think we're going to cut it short because I'm not sure how much memory I have left in my camera, unfortunately.
And we could probably go on and on and on, guys.
Really
this is a great topic.
But I wanted to, so the main point here is grow up.
Yeah.
Learn how to grow up.
Learn fast.
Please. Learn what credit is.
Everybody.
What else? Parents, push your children.
Yes.
Push your children so that they can be the awesome, professional, successful adults you want to raise them to be. And kids,
push yourselves too. Parents need to push themselves.
Parents do need to push themselves. Growth doesn't stop when you have children.
No.
It does not stop. And last thing is love your parents.
Yeah.
They may give you a hard time every now and then, but they really just want what's best for you in their own way. And maybe that doesn't translate well for you, but they love you.
Just talk to them. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're so excited. Hopefully this is a good episode, and we're going to also continue to, I think, get more feedback, right?
Yeah,
from people.
I actually feel like we can probably do longer episodes. But yeah, this was really good. Also, we have set up a Google form that Sultana's going to add to our Instagram page. It's going to have links to our YouTube, our Spotify, our Apple podcast. And it's also going to have a link where you can actually share some ideas that we can talk about on the show. Also, on top of that, you can share a personal story of your own. Maybe you're going through a situation and you're not really sure how to handle it. We're going to call it CT time. CT meaning letter time. CT time. Submit your worries. We'll try to help you out if we can. I do want to say we're not licensed therapists. So take our advice with a grain of salt.
But get a therapist if you need one.
But get a therapist. Yeah. Therapy is great. And use fake names if you can for your own security.
Yeah. We'll obviously try to anonymize them if they don't come with fake names, but
Yeah. And your emails are not recorded when you submit these requests. So if I do, I'm not going to know who you are. I'm not going to be able to tell anyone who you are. It's only going to stay between me and Sultana for the most part. And we're going to kind of figure out what advice can we give. But yeah, that's a wrap.
Thanks for tuning in. I think we did good, Raja.
I think we did great. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good night.